Welcome to the Scoop with Deuce, the AU Scoop. I'm your host, Philip Deuce, aka Deuce D Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Deuce D Scoop. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Well, I've been under the weather a little bit after I came back from the Senior Bowl. See, I'm a little scruffy, haven't gotten a haircut, but guess what? I got some really good info that I wanted to share with you guys. So, a couple of shows ago that I did in Auburn, I talked about the player led workouts. And some people are naysayers are like, "Oh, that can't be true. How do you know?" And okay, cool. Well, now they've opened up sessions for the coaches to attend and actually lead workouts, or I guess like shells practices. Not an official spring practice, but I think it's called like football school or something like that. But you're starting to see staffers being in a football setting with Auburn, with the Auburn players. And so I got a lot more information than I had last time. Um, Once again, we can start at quarterback. People are still really impressed with Jackson Arnold. The release, you heard Hugh Freeze say that the ball was spinning differently. Everybody knows he has those 5-star traits. He's a better athlete than a lot of people give him credit for. I wanted to talk about Deuce Knight. So I'm hearing Deuce Knight has already gained about 8 to 10 pounds since he's been in school. The weight program has really been working well for him. He's still spinning it, and basically he's like I tell everybody, man, the Auburn quarterback this year just has to be a point guard. So with those two guys, I think both of those guys, according to people I talked to, put you in a better situation. Like if Deuce Knight, I'm hearing that if Deuce Knight would have been on campus last year, he would have started. If this Deuce Knight, not Deuce Knight last year, who was in high school, this version of Deuce would have started last year. Um, all right, let's move on. And Ashton Daniels isn't there yet, but people in the know really feel like Ashton Daniels is going to be a pretty good player in that system. That system is tailored for him, so we'll see how that shakes out. But if I had to bet, definitely Jackson Arnold. All right, let's go to the running back room. So we can start with Darrell Robinson from UConn, who is out. I'm not sure if he's going to be back for spring, but he could be. Not sure. That's what I'm hearing, but I am hearing that he's out right now. Jeremiah Cobb is somebody who's turning heads as well. Um, Increased muscle mass. Really took the offseason serious, and I think he wants to compete. And some people feel like he could be compete for the one spot. And Damari Austin, the senior who's waited his turn. They say he slimmed down some. He came in booked up, and they said like instantly like he's like getting that weight off of him, and he looks good. And if they started tomorrow, the spring started tomorrow, Damari Austin is your 1A running back. Wide receiver, the formation that I keep hearing about that is really like keeping people that the formation that players are excited about is 4 wide, one running back. That's what's been the most exciting. And one of the reasons for that excitement is Eric Singleton. So from what I'm hearing, if it started tomorrow, you will probably see Cam Coleman, one, Eric Singleton, then on the other side, Malcolm Simmons in the slot, and then Horatio Fields. Now, this is the speed. I talked to a couple defenders. The speed is what gets you about Eric Singleton. So I was told that, I don't know, one day this week, Eric Singleton went over 23 on this catapult. And when everybody, like the people that saw it freaked out, I was like, man, he went 23. Good gracious. He went over 23 miles an hour, 23 miles an hour on his catapult. And they kind of laughed and was like, oh, that's only 85%. I talked to some guys that literally said, like, hey, E. Singleton's like a true 4-2, like one of those ones, so to speak. And they've seen him in a multitude of positions. He's been on the outside. He's been on the inside. He's got some reverses. I believe you're going to see him on special teams from what people are saying already. And spring hasn't even started yet. This is like a pre-spring primer. I think they get started in about a month from now. But as they go through these workouts and some of these coach-led workouts where they kind of go through what what they'll be wanting to do for spring, and I think the most you can do is like 2 a week or 1 a week. I don't know how it works, but as those things continue to happen, I think Eric Singleton is going to be a guy that you're going to hear about all spring. People ranting and raving about his talent and what he can do in the ball with the ball in his hands. Horatio Fields is a guy who was kind of unheralded, right? Under the radar, but man, like a true ball player, has experience, did his thing at Wake Forest, and another reason for excitement. Somebody with big time game experience that right now he's one of the first four. Then you got to look at Malcolm Simmons, status quo, probably the best overall athlete on the team, and then Cam Coleman. I mean, Eric Singleton and Cam Coleman is enough, but 1 through 4, this is I'm talking to a defender, you know, that's like, man, that's scary to see. Like, what if we had to guard that? We got to get to the quarterback fast, like, and so I think that's important for the offense to provide a sense of, man, what's the perfect word to say? Optimism. Say optimism. Looking at what the the offense being able to provide a sense of optimism for the defense will go a long way. Because last year, a lot of people feel like that was an 8-9 win defense at minimum. If you would have got cut down on some of the turnovers and got more steady quarterback play, that defense had Auburn in enough games to win 8 or 9. So for offensively, for them to be able to for the defense to be able to look across the line of scrimmage and feel like, man, we're getting the best reps we can get, right? Because who else can stretch 4 across like this with that type of backfield? Oh, and then too, you can't forget about the offensive line. I was told you're gonna see probably Xavier Chaplin at the left tackle, either Too Tall or Dylan Wade at that left guard spot. Probably Connor Lew at center, right guard, probably Jeremiah Wright and Mason Murphy at the right tackle if it started tomorrow. But that gives you so much flexibility because you can always kick a Too Tall back out in a pinch. Braden Joyner played well last year, so you can get a breather on the interior if you need to do something different. Mason Murphy has experience up and down the offensive line. He played a lot at right guard while he was at USC. So definitely the offensive line looks to be like, all right, cool. Well, one, you can get the ball out fast. You have duality at the quarterback position. You got running backs who can do both, right? They can pass block, they can pass protect, and they can catch the ball, as well as get positive yards and tough yards when you think about Damari Austin and Jeremiah Cobb. So that offense, man, we're going to get to it a little bit later in the season. I'll be back next week and we'll dig into the offense a little bit deeper. Defensive line, one of the more impressive things that I've heard is that, man, what's the kid's name for Sam Houston State? Let me pull it up right quick. When I was talking to my guy, he didn't even one of the guys I talked to, he said, man, the guy from Sam Houston, man, that's a grown man. That's a grown man. That's how Chris Murray, 6'4", 255, 260. Chris Murray. All I heard was grown man, grown man, grown man. Whether that be workouts, and they say he just looks the part. He's a guy that you like, we always talk about the first guy off the bus, but they say he's truly one of those guys who looks like a first guy off the bus type of guy, physique. Him with Kieron Crawford. Also hearing good things about the development of Amars Williams. So yeah, I think you're gonna be good at that edge jack position. D tackle. I think Dallas Walker is a guy who from Western Kentucky that's going to be your first guy out in the middle. 6'5", 320, I believe. So he huge guy, but that's who you're going to want. If you're going to play those 3 safeties, you want to make sure that your 3 defensive linemen are that. You put him next to a guy like Malik Blockman. And I think, and a lot of people have been impressed so far with the work ethic of Jordan Crawford out of Parker. Crawford, I think it's Jordan, but Crawford out of Parker. That's the one I keep hearing about. And a lot of people thought that he was the best D lineman in the class. Then you add in a guy like Malik Autry. You're going to see young guys play on this defensive line. You'll probably see them go after one more D lineman in the spring, in the spring portal. But right now, you feel okay with what you have up front. Linebacker. Linebacker is where I heard some really, really good info. So right now, Wesley Woodyard is somebody that you know is like, okay, he earned it. He's played well. You know, this is his year. On the other side of him, you got DeMarcus Riddick, young guy. You know, 5-star, 4-star, athletic. He has the build. He has the speed, sideline to sideline. Has the pedigree. Okay, cool. Two young guys that I'm hearing are impressive. Bryce Deas. And I think he was coming in as a safety, if I'm not mistaken. But man, he will play linebacker for Auburn. Mark my words, he will at least play some dime linebacker. Bet the house on it. Bryce Deas, I'm hearing, is buzzing workouts when they see him run, flipping his hips and his body. He grew like it's almost like he had a growth spurt this way. So when you see Bryce Deas, I know some people thought he was going to be in the secondary, but I think his primary position at Auburn is going to be linebacker. And he can run. All I keep hearing is he can run. Offensively, I'm talking to some of the guys. When you see him, he flashes. It's like from what I'm hearing, offensively, speaking to a receiver, it's like, oh yeah, the kid Diaz, like, you might see him on bubble, but man, he closes the gap so fast. So speaking, and I like to try to speak to offensive players about defensive guys and defensive players about offensive guys. So Bryce Diaz is one to watch. Elijah Melendez, the linebacker, probably the most, I would say, college ready linebacker of the first, not even linebacker. He may be the most college ready, physically college ready freshman in that class from last year. They say he's a monster. So what I got was squats, 565, held it for 3 seconds, 565. They say his brother is a workout warrior too, Antonio. He transferred in. So his brother is playing linebacker, Antonio Melendez as well. He'll be here. He'll be in Auburn. But Elijah Melendez is very impressive. So if you were to pick two newcomers in that linebacker room, I would say Melendez and Bryce Deas are the two that people are ranting and raving about, saying, man, those young guys are good. When I ask about we call them the babies, man. What about the babies? They're like, oh, yeah, those two. Those are the two I'm hearing that'll play in that linebacker room. Um, Cornerback, Jay Crawford, status quo. Some people feel like he looks like he may be a step faster. He did work on his speed in the offseason. Talked to his pops not too long ago as far as some of his goals. And, he's excited about what they want to do. And he definitely took speed training and wanted to even show that he's even faster than what he showed last year. So definitely that. Kayan Lee looks like he may have slimmed. He toned and slimmed, maybe leaned more than anything. Looks a little more sleek this year. Worked on his explosion, and I think you'll be able to see him on the outside and the inside. Uh, Talking to NFL guys, a lot of people feel like he's the prototypical nickel corner, which is now a position in the NFL. But it's easy for a guy to go outside in. It's hard to go from inside out. So Ken Lee has that flexibility where he's coming from outside in, which I think is huge for his development. Um, the two fastest safeties I heard were Tay Shelton and Terrence Love. In that safety room, they did say that both of them went over 22 miles an hour. But I'm hearing New Boy covers a lot of ground. They did say Anquan Fagans covers a lot of ground. And Eric Winters was a lot more has a lot more mobility than some people thought. Some people thought he was going to be an automatic linebacker when he got to school. Like his frame is linebacker. But I think you'll see him in the star, and you'll see a rotating cast in the star to see who that guy is going to be. Um, Interested to see what happens when Champ Anthony gets back. Would you see him in the star with the way he provides that pop, or would you see him outside and kick Can Lee inside, or could you see them giving a whole new uh, cornerback group, giving Jay Crawford and Ken Lee a breather with Rayon Strader from Miami, Ohio, and Champ Anthony. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the good part is you got so many pieces that you can mix and match, and people have familiarity in different positions. So yeah, I think going forward, I think you're going to see one or two of these a week. I should be able to get at least one out a week. I've been kind of holding a little bit, but yeah, for sure. definitely some things to be excited about in Auburn. As I get more information, I'll be back on here to provide another one of these reports. But yeah, I mean, they're pissed. Just to keep it 100. Like the Auburn team is they're mad. They are upset about last year, and they're lit. That energy is translated into better workouts. Man, I'll tell you what, people who the flexibility training, the yoga is getting more attendance than it has in previously. Than it got more. You got more attendance in yoga than you did last year, which means that guys are taking care of their body for flexibility. They want to get better at in every way possible. And I think that's super important, man. So Auburn has a chip on their shoulder. They know they need to win, and I think they're going to do everything in their power to win and get the Auburn fans a winner. As I get more information, I'll be sure to share it. Hey, look, you get a lot of content on this page. Got some cool stuff, barbershop type talk. You'll see the live conversations. Colorado, Auburn, I got some Hawks talk, some Falcons talk. Just subscribe to the channel and go to the playlist that you want. If you're an Auburn fan, you may not be into anything else, go check out the Auburn stuff. I got a whole playlist for you. I got a great interview I did with Sean Shivers, Worm, Iron Bowl legend. Go check that out. But it's on the Auburn playlist on my page. And if you want to get into anything else, drop a comment and let me know. All right, guys, that's my time. I'm dropping this late Friday. Y'all run it up. All right, man. See y'all. Like and subscribe for sure.